But you know what's also not good for business? Choosing to have the face of your campaign be a man who openly jokes about violence against women.
e.l.f. Cosmetics is getting canceled. Let's talk about it. I was not expecting this at all today. So apparently many people are very upset with the fact that, let me fix my camera here, that e.l.f. Cosmetics paid Matt Rife money to be in their new campaign. Now, they also paid Heidi in the Closet, which is a drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race, like a past season. I love that. But here's the thing. Matt Rife is very controversial. He has joked about women in domestic violence. And it was a joke that didn't go well.
This video is probably not going to be very good for business, but you know what's also not good for business? Choosing to have the face of your campaign be a man who openly jokes about violence against women. In case you missed it, a couple of hours ago, e.l.f. Cosmetics posted their most recent ad campaign where they had Heidi in Closet, who love, famous drag queen, big fan of her on Drag Race. She was the best thing about that ad. The worst thing about that ad, Matt Rife as the other face of the campaign. To wake up this morning and see this, I am genuinely so disappointed. As both a consumer and a creator in the beauty space, I'm incredibly disappointed in you, e.l.f. Cosmetics. I have used and loved e.l.f. Cosmetics for a long time. I have worked with you several times. I do not stand behind this. I do not support this, and I cannot continue to support a company where the people at the top think that this is okay. Because also e.l.f. Cosmetics, and I mean, I'm just spitballing figures here, but I would hazard a guess that your customer base is anywhere from 90 to 95% women. I cannot fathom a world in which, as a business, a multi-billion-dollar business that has the influence that you have, that you would sit there and say the best person to have as the face of this campaign is Matt Rife, the man who jokes about domestic violence. And possibly the saddest part about this is that it's not just one person's decision. For a campaign of this size, it would have had to pass through so many hands. The amount of checks and balances and approvals that would have had to happen for this campaign to go live. Can you honestly sit here and tell me that nobody at the top stood back and said, hey guys, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think that as a multi-billion-dollar business in the beauty industry with a customer base that is 90% women, we should have the face of our campaign be a man who openly jokes about violence against women. Like, did nobody sit there and say, hey, in 2025, when there is an absolute epidemic of violence against women, let's not choose to have the face of our campaign be a man who jokes about domestic violence. Let's not platform Matt Rife, because if we're being super honest with each other, e.l.f. Cosmetics, with the amount of money and the resources that you have at your fingertips, you could have had literally anybody else, but you chose Matt Rife, and God, I would love to hear the explanation as to why. Because also, I don't know about you, but I've never once seen Matt make beauty content. Not once. So it's not as though he was chosen for this campaign because he has a strong alignment to the brand, because he's got a strong affinity to the brand, or even because he's got a strong alignment to the industry. So why was Matt Rife chosen for this? Because also, e.l.f. Cosmetics, when you sign a contract with somebody as the face of your campaign, as the face of your business, when you cut a check to that person, you're essentially telling your audience and your customers, hey guys, in this moment, that person represents our business. That person represents us. Well, hey e.l.f. Cosmetics, in this moment, you've told us all that Matt Rife represents e.l.f. Cosmetics. Personally, I'm good.
He, in my opinion, is most notably known for, as of recent, collecting ownership or somewhere along the lines of that as the Conjuring Annabelle doll and all the 70 or 85 figures, you know, in the Conjuring movie. The franchise, and I think he purchased the home and the artifacts in it or something like that, right? Or like either he owns it or purchased temporary rights or something along the lines of that. So it made headlines. It was all over the news for that. And that's really what I know him for. And I was like, well, who the hell is Matt Rife? Essentially, he's just like a comedian. Not a very good one. Some people are saying that. And a lot of women are upset that, and men, that Matt Rife was the face of this e.l.f. cosmetic campaign. Here's what some people had to say.
I love a giant clip. I don't want to look down and feel like God left a tag on you.
So yes, the man shaming women's bodies is the new face of e.l.f. I'm just wondering, what does Matt Rife know about cosmetics? I mean, he clearly knows a lot about cosmetic procedures. But what does he know about actual makeup? The same man who also made a joke about domestic violence towards women and doubled down and never apologized for it. Matt Rife has also said that his shows are more targeted towards bros instead of women anyway. I find it funny that they added a drag queen in the mix to try to kind of be like, oh, you know, it's fine, we have her in here. Matt Rife is the example of what men think that women find attractive. I kind of feel like this is like an example of why DEI is so important. There's no way there are women on this team that actually like pass this through rings. It was like, you know what, this is fine, this is great. Everyone loves Matt Rife. It takes an easy Google, TikTok, YouTube search to see all his controversies, and they're all towards women. So this ad is kind of a slap in the face. I want to know, what are your opinions on Matt Rife being the face of e.l.f. now?
Okay, grab a snack and come on. That was just one person who had a lot to say about it. Others are furious. They cannot believe that e.l.f. Cosmetics, with so much resources that they have, would hire Matt Rife to do that. As I sit here, I wonder, I think to myself, what does e.l.f. Cosmetics, how does it affect my life? What do I have here of them, right? And I thought to myself, there's only one thing by e.l.f. that I have, and it is the e.l.f. Power Grip. That is a great primer. But then, like, I was looking for it, it's not within my reach. And I always say, if you can't reach for it in your makeup desk and you have it put away, that says everything. I don't even have it in front of me. The only thing that I have in front of me that's comparable to that is the She Glam Good Grip, which is a dupe for the Power Grip. She Glam, you know, the little dupe for it. I'm using this because it's right here in front of me. So I just think that, like, why would e.l.f. do that? If their majority of their audience is women, and then they just signed that $1 billion deal to acquire Rhode Beauty by Hailey Bieber, and then weeks prior to that, they told their audience on Instagram, hey guys, we're raising our prices by $1 due to the tariffs. And I was like, oh, well, I understand that. You got to raise it up $1. I get it. And then I turn around and see you spend $1 billion on a brand that was popular a couple years ago. Is that going to be enough to hold you over? I think they bit off more than they can chew with that deal. But I could be 100% honest with you. I said that then, and I'm going to say it again. That was a bad deal. I would not have acquired Hailey Bieber, Rhode Beauty, to be popular. It was popular for having an iPhone case that sticks your lippy on it a couple years ago. I wouldn't buy the brand. I do not see a ROI, a return of investment, with Hailey Bieber and e.l.f. Acquiring them. I don't see it. There's a lot of things they could have done with that. They could have bought, let me see, $1 billion. You could bought like what, 7? They could have bought 7 beauty companies, up and coming, new ones. They could have spent a lot of money on other things than the Hailey one. I'm just shocked. But this positions them inside e.l.f. Inside Sephora. But this really shows me who e.l.f. Cosmetics is. I always thought in my mind that it was a brand that would see something that was popular, dupe it, and dupe it better and cheaper. Now the CEO has came out and said that that's not what they do. They just make great products. But then you have brands like Revolution who openly say that's what they do, and brands like MCO Beauty who openly say that's what they do. I just thought that e.l.f. was more fun.
What happens when you put your faith in brands. Everyone's talking about e.l.f. right now, and I think that's exactly what they wanted you to do. I think this isn't a case of them not knowing any better. I think this is someone from their advertising department that was like kind of a hack that didn't know what to do, and their numbers were low, and so they figured they would do what American Eagle was doing, and here we are. There's no way that they just picked this person to be in their ad. You don't pick someone who's that controversial at the moment for making jokes about DV with women and then put them as the face of your campaign. I just honestly, I hate to quote, but this guy is not exceptionally talented, shock value kind of crowd work artist, and that's not why they hired him. They hired him for shock and awe, and now they're getting it. But they've alienated a lot of their base doing this. I think the thing I'm most most disappointed in is that these brands that were so performative during Pride and during 2020 are all backtracking and playing to who's in power now. And it just means like you can't trust brands. This is capitalism. This is what happens when you want to make a quick buck because you need numbers to go up. These brands don't have any soul. They never really did, but at least back in the day, you could kind of know that if you went with one brand, what you were getting. I think now they're just changing out CEOs so quickly and changing out who they hire, and this is just hack kind of behavior. This is someone who isn't good at their job that thought, hey, shock value, we'll just copy what happened with American Eagle because you saw how many clicks they got. But clicks doesn't mean it's going to sell. And honestly, I don't know what I expected from a company that made all of their money off of dupes, but this is why you shouldn't expect anything from companies. It's kind of hard these days. You have to do your homework, decide where you're going to spend your money. But I think investing in these indie brands that are out right now, that's probably the best way. As soon as it gets as big as it has with e.l.f. and some of the other brands that are really popular today, I think it's kind of over because all they care about is profit margin and nothing really matters and it's all performative. So that's just my opinion on it. I don't want to give too much attention to it anymore because that's exactly what they want. So instead of just getting furious and throwing out your stuff, just realize they're just not a great brand. But they knew what they were doing and we're all falling for it. So let's just not give them any more airtime.
I thought they were more tongue-in-cheek and funny, poke the bear. And that this shows me that I'm at a loss for words. You guys, I'm literally at a loss for words. Let me show you what somebody had to say. Here we go. Okay. Now, there are a lot more people speaking on this. I'm pretty sure there's people out there defending Matt Rife and things like that. I know I make jokes and I consider myself a little comedy person and stuff. When I look at it, I just don't think he was a good fit. That's all. I really don't think he was a good fit. There could have been other people. And if your goal was to be shocking, then you achieved it. But even then, there are other people you could have hired that would have been more shocking. You would have pushed the envelope a little bit further. Or pushed the envelope in a way that's not in the direction of domestic violence for women. If I was them, I would have hired Rosie O'Donnell, who's been very outspoken about Trump. I would have also hired somebody who is pro-Trump. And that way you position yourself between this dichotomy of against and pro. You know what I'm saying? At least that would be a balance. And there could be a whole campaign, hot versus cold or something like that, launching some new type of, invention of a primer or something, whatever. But this to me was just a flop. I do not like it. And I could be quite honest with you, with no disrespect to Heidi in Closet. I think she's an amazing performer. If you're going to spend that much money on Hailey Bieber, then I would expect that these ad campaigns to be elevated and not choosing a contestant from a show, but more like the host from the show. Like RuPaul should have been in this ad. That would have spoke well. The last time I saw RuPaul in a makeup ad was the MAC Cosmetics Viva Glam. That would have been amazing. RuPaul, maybe Rosie O'Donnell again. I'm on my Rosie O'Donnell kick right now, so I'm sorry about that. But anyways, let me know what you think about this e.l.f. Cosmetics fiasco. I really want to know what you guys think about it. I will be reading all your comments, so please leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Hold on. Somebody want to say something. Me. Thank you, LaBoo-Boo. And we got a call from the network. Hold on. Hello? Our show's going to be canceled if we don't get enough likes and comments. Okay, thank you. I'm just letting y'all know, guys. Leave a comment so I can pay the light bill. And drop a super thanks if you feel so inclined. Okay, I love you guys so much. Mwah.